And now for our feature presentation.
This is great because on the back it actually says this film is also known as
the I'll Watch It Later podcast.
You never heard of that film?
And now, on with the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to I'll Watch It Later podcast, a podcast where we lie about the movies we've seen to impress our friends. As always, I'm Aaron, joined by my best friend, asshole guy who stacks fucking boxes. He's a pile of garbage. So, see, he stacks garbage because he is garbage. Jordan.
You mispronounced Scott. Hi, everybody.
I'm not the asshole this week.
And
I feel good.
It's the same day.
Scott, my producer, brother-in-law, best friend, and all-around guy.
Fantastic guy.
Scott.
It's me.
Scott.
All
right. We,
did some stuff.
Watch some movies.
Guess what? It's another fucking baseball movie. Jesus Christ.
At least you're starting off.
I'm sure I gave it a great score after last week. Anyways.
Feels so long ago.
Scott, have you watched anything this week?
Nothing this week.
Oh, shocker. Shocker. Can somebody out there
No. He saw Pearl.
create a tally?
I mean, yes, I went to the movie that we saw, yes, that we will get into. But other than that, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody tally up how many weeks Scott just refuses to watch
It's
anything
weird. You
at
could
home.
say the term slinging bread, and you would think, he's throwing money around. No, he's literally slinging bread.
Yeah. Because that's his job. And he does nothing else. He's like, I have to just sit here in the darkness and watch TikToks. I cannot watch movies, even though I'm on a movie podcast. TikToks are the way.
It's okay. He's the everyman. Not everybody watches movies like we do.
Yep.
Yeah, but he barely watches movies.
Yep.
He's the everyman.
I'm the every guy.
Stop it. Stop leaning into it. It's bad.
We like it. It's fun.
That's why you brought me here.
I figured you'd watch some movies, sir.
I do watch movies.
Yeah, you don't.
Did I not go to 2 fucking movies with you?
I mean, yeah.
Past 9 o'clock, this man.
Yeah.
Stayed awake. And he stayed awake.
He did. Maybe
I
he
don't know
did.
how he
did you
did it.
stay awake during Pearl?
Yeah, I did.
The whole time?
The whole time.
All right.
There's a couple moments.
There's a couple moments every now and then where like your breathing changes a little bit, and without looking over, I think
You noticed
Aaron
that
fell
too?
asleep.
I did the same thing.
I didn't
And-
fall
and I-
asleep last night.
No, I know. It's just that the way your breathing changes sometimes, like it almost sounds like you fall asleep. Because I've been in movies where you've
fat.
fallen asleep, and I'm not trying to insult you.
It's the
but
same breathing.
There's every now and then your breathing changes, and I'm like,
I could tell.
Aaron
I could
fell
tell in a
asleep.
heartbeat the minute Aaron dozes off.
I didn't fall asleep last night.
no,
You
I know.
did a couple times.
I
think-
honestly did it.
Really?
Because
Because the breathing changed. I'm funny.
I think it's just because
I
I'm
laugh 'cause
fat
he
and
said
I
it.
drank 2 lemonades. So I think
You
it was
know
like
what?
a sugar.
I have
thing.
to say, high five to you. We saw 2 movies back to back, and I went to the bathroom between movies, and I didn't see you go in there once. I don't think you
He
got
did.
up to go to the bathroom.
No,
at
I
all
remember I
during
went to the
movies.
bathroom between movies as well.
He did go between.
Remember, I had you watching my soda.
Oh, that's right. When I
Yeah.
was buying my ticket. Okay, you're right. You didn't get up once during the 2 movies, and I don't think I've ever gone to a movie with you where you haven't at least gone up once.
Yeah, well, sometimes
tiny
I
little
just
bladder.
get up to.
It was literally the
Stretch-
biggest fucking soda
stretch
I've ever
out.
seen.
The tankard.
I'm literally. I
Put a
hate.
handle on it.
I hate getting up to go pee during a movie, but sometimes. But
Like I
as
can see during Clerks, but
as
Pearl,
I-
I thought you would have gotten up.
as I get older, I rather be comfortable than be.
Yes.
Than just sit
I
there and be
just
like,
pissed my
"Ugh,
pants."
I gotta pee. Because towards the end of Pearl, I
Hurting.
had to leak, but we left. I had him stop by.
I'm leaking.
We had to stop by QT on the way home and take care of some business because I had to pee really bad. But I
3 minutes from the house.
Right.
He's
well,
like,
I wanted
gotta
to
stop.
I wanted to look for the Voodoo Mountain Dews
Yeah.
for the show too. And dude, funniest thing ever happened. Scott walks over to the cooler. Don't got him because I'm peeing. I was like, oh really? So I walked over there just to see.
It's a whole row.
There was 3 rows. 3 rows.
Dude, I walk over and I see like the regular Mountain Dews, and I see like the Spark is in there, and I just happen to look up and I'm like, I don't see anything else, so I just kind of walked away. I mean, I knew Aaron would go back over and double over it anyways, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is white, and Scott, he doesn't see color. So.
I don't.
He's like, what? It's not in a green bottle?
Everybody's part of my world.
Right. Rainbow Coalition of Sodas.
So did you watch anything this week?
I did. I know we touched on last week when we talked about Clerks. I watched Clerks 2. Funny every time I watch it. It gets funnier, honestly. In a weird way, I decided to throw on RoboCop, that remake from 2014, and
I'd buy that for $1.
I love the original. It's so campy. Paul Verhoeven just made such a wild movie. This one wasn't as bad the second viewing than I originally saw it in the theater. Like, I wanted more out of it. It wasn't the greatest thing to watch in the theater, but when I rewatched it, there was something about it that actually, I was sitting there watching and actually enjoying myself, which is weird because it's not a good movie by any stretch of the word.
I liked it.
But I didn't hate it.
But here's why I liked it.
Love RoboCop.
When I got home from Afghanistan, it was the first film I saw in the theaters. First film I went and saw in the theaters was RoboCop.
2014.
Yeah, when I got back home. It wasn't technically the first movie I went and saw in the theaters because I was in stupid Texas forever. But when I was able to live my life again, I went and saw it in the theaters. And I was like, I like this, and I did. I liked it.
It wasn't bad. Michael Keaton was...
I was just kind of meh on that one.
Yeah,
because
it's
I have
very
such
meh,
a soft spot for the original.
Oh yeah,
it's
one of my
kind of
earliest
doesn't stack up.
One of my earliest movie watching memories, aside from Back to the Future and Indiana Jones and all that stuff, is I remember this was after my parents had divorced and my dad had taken us.
Good times.
No, I'm just saying he wasn't exactly attentive as far as anymore. Letting me not watch stupid shit. So we were in a hotel room. We were on our way. He was taking my sister. We went down to Tijuana. And we were in a hotel in San Diego. And he watched the original RoboCop on pay-per-view back when it just released. And that movie, when RoboCop takes his car and hits that dude that was being melted by acid, and he just splatters across the fucking windshield, fucked me up when I was little. And I wanted all the toys. I had an Ed 209 toy. And then I'm sitting here as an older person going, why the fuck were we marketing children's toys for R-rated fucked up movies?
We used to do that. They had a
Predator,
video game.
RoboCop.
Dude, I collected Predators and Aliens, and I never even saw the movies until I was older.
That's what I'm saying. We push toys for things that kids aren't even allowed to watch. And I don't know why, but I remember loving the fucking gun RoboCop had in this side. And he would do the little flip thing and put it in. I love the original so much. In fact, it's bummed me out that I haven't purchased it on 4K yet. I might have to go do that when I get done with here. But
the Arrow.
It's so
as
good.
old as I am, and I saw some video of some dude making a RoboCop cosplay, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to get that.
Yeah, he was talking about his penis in his mouth.
I would love to get that penis in my mouth. No, it was like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Dress up like RoboCop.
So neat. Just
my inner child.
But watching the second one, watching this remake it was interesting this time around because I think it was just I was in a different headspace. It was just like I don't care if it's bad or good. I just wanted something on, and I found myself kind of just staring at my phone because I had it on while I was working. I'm just kind of staring at it, watching, going, I don't know why I didn't like this as much as I did.
Because the internet told you not to.
No, and I don't like using the internet for those reasons. I never let them form my opinion. But I remember seeing it in the theater. Me and my brother went, and I just walked out going, it was okay. It was just, I get it. They did a lot of little nods, and they did this, and it's like, oh, he was Chrome, but then they made him black to make him different. But then at the end, he's Chrome again. It's like, yeah, he's RoboCop. There was something, I felt like it was almost too polished of a movie because the other one felt very gritty and real and physical. Did
it feel real when he's falling down the steps?
Yes, so great. With the Ed 209,
yeah.
He's all fucking rotoscoped in like in the Harryhausen movies, all modeled. But I just I watched that and I liked it this time around. It was fun. And then what else did I watch? I watched Highlander. I was just in a mood for some turn your brain off action movies, and I forget how much I just love Highlander.
I'll always tell you how much I hate that term.
Turn your brain off. Oh, shut up.
Not when it comes to movies. It's not.
Sometimes you can.
Criticism.
Sometimes you can just sit there and enjoy watching something play out, and you
can half pay attention.
That's kind of why I did
still get the gist of the movie.
Highlander 4K is coming.
I know. I'm so excited.
Well, you can't watch it again.
I'll watch it again.
No, you can't.
I'll watch it again later.
No, you won't.
I love that movie, and I have a soft spot for the second one just because they put out a shit product the first time around, and then they did a director's cut that fixed all the bullshit. So I've seen both cuts. I love them. I even love the third one with Mario Van Peebles. It's a terrible movie, but I'm a sucker for the Highlander series. I watched I've seen every movie because most of them went straight to DVD after I think the third one. And I was working at Hollywood, so I would always watch
Awakening was in the theater. I know that for a fact.
Was that the one with the Highlander TV show? Highlander was in it as well?
I think so.
Okay. I don't remember going, but I remember watching it on video. But I love it. I used to watch the series for a while.
I used to.
I'm like, you guys are all Highlanders and you have to kill each other, but you're all best friends and shit. Fucking cut some heads off, motherfuckers. Like,
when I lived in Tolleson, I would always go to the mall, Desert Sky Pavilion Mall, and I would watch every movie in the fucking theater. And I remember seeing Highlander, like Awakening or something there.
Weird.
It was weird. It wasn't a good movie.
I feel that because to me that plot and that whole crossover with the TV show felt like it should have been a straight to DVD. Get the series, like, you know how they always make those like movies to start off a series. Like, that's what it should have been.
I mean, let's be real. None of them are great movies.
No.
Highlander 1 is.
Highlander 1,
it's a fun movie to watch. It's not a good movie.
Highlander 2 is garbage. I don't agree with you on that, but whatever. They even admit it's garbage.
No, it is. The original cut is garbage. When they redid it and fixed all the bullshit about it, making them aliens and weird shit, like, oh my god, Michael Ironside is in it. Like, it's a serviceable movie when they fixed it. But no, it's a shit movie. Like, it's not good. But that's what I watched. I think I wanted just some, hang out, watch some action movie type shit, and I had a fun time doing it. And I want to try to find some more things to just kind of veg out and watch.
Yeah, I watched a bunch of new stuff because that's what I seem to do because I'm trying to get it all in. But not as much as like I texted you the other day. Not even close to what I wanted to watch.
Oh, there was a
list
list that I had that I never hit.
But I did get to see a movie that I've been wanting to see for a while, and I just never got the chance to go to the theater to see it. But Emily the Criminal with Audrey Plaza. Movie's a 50. It's so good. It's funny to me because all these people are always like, "Oh, you don't like female protagonists because you hate She-Hulk." Do a female protagonist right, and they're awesome. This movie is
not bad. You're a misogynist. That's why.
Of course.
You hate women.
Like, this movie is about Audrey Plaza. She has like kind of a checkered past, some stuff on her record that's just like keeping her from accelerating to the next level in like business and stuff. So she has to take like crappy jobs, and one of her buddies gives her this number. She starts falling into this like criminal syndicate type thing with like identity theft, and it gets like really crazy. She decides to go out on her own and do it, and the movie just it really, she's really good in it, and she really breaks away from all the previous characters she's played, where it's all like slapstick and just, I don't know.
Yeah,
Parks
for a long
and
time.
Rec.
Yeah, Parks and Rec, and the movie we watched, and some of
Hours.
those other ones where she's just like screaming, or she's the dark girl, or things like that. She's kind of broken away with a few of those movies.
And honestly, I think this is one of the best movies of the year. I would love for you guys to check it out. I know Scott won't because later.
No.
Roll credits. Anyways, so honestly, like it's one of the best movies of the year. Like, I'm not even. It has the dude from Sons of Anarchy in it that plays like Juice or whatever his name was.
Okay.
What was that guy's name? Sons of Anarchy.
Theo something or other.
Theo Rossi.
Yeah, Theo Rossi. But that's who he is, and he's like the main criminal, and it kind of goes in this like full circle direction.
That's cool.
And it's really, really good. And then I did watch Breaking, another. I didn't know it was a true story when I watched it until the end.
What's this one?
This is John Boyega plays
Breaking with the breakdancers.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. It's a remake of Breaking and Breaking 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
No, it's he plays an actual vet who gets kind of fucked over for money.
Animal Doctor for all these of you out
No, a veteran, and
imagine?
what's that guy's name?
killed his dog.
Oh man, I gotta look this up because I love this guy. He's in it. And he's really
the
good.
best part
He's
of
the
the
dude
show.
from The Wire.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
want to say Michael Williams. But I don't think that's
Michael
right.
K. Williams, the guy that died?
Michael Kenneth Williams. Yeah.
Michael Jai Wright.
No, Michael.
I'm kidding. It's
Yeah.
a joke.
So
Yeah,
it was. I
he
was.
died.
Oh, I didn't know he died.
He like overdosed.
Yeah. So it's John Boyega, Michael Williams, and it's about this. It's about this guy. God dang it.
That's funny. He was in RoboCop that I just watched.
Was he?
Yeah, he was Lewis.
Was he the bad guy?
No, he was the partner. Like in the original movie, it was that woman, and she played his partner originally. This one, they switched it for a black guy, so it was Michael K. Williams.
Oh, okay. So it's Brian Brown Easley, and I guess it's based on a true story about this guy who kind of went into a Wells Fargo in Georgia and said he had a bomb, but he didn't really have a bomb. And he's trying to like get the vet. All he wanted was his story told, so I guess they made this movie. And I find it interesting because Boyega is such a boisterous voice in Hollywood now. He's just like all over the place with like race and stuff like that. And I thought it was good. I thought the director of this was made some really odd choices, whereas Boyega gives like a fucking incredible performance. That his his directing choices kind of ruin it because it makes it turns it into this like, you know what remind me of John Q.
I love John Q.
And but it's like a real John Q. And Boyega's doing his like best. And like the director's like, that's cool. I'm gonna totally fuck it with these weird edits. And
I really like Boyega. Like people like to give him crap for the Star Wars movies and think that was his like big thing. No, it's not. Like Attack the Block is a fucking 10. Like I love that movie.
Apparently he's in that new movie, The Woman King.
The Warrior Queen is the
Woman King.
The Warrior Queen.
It's the Woman King. The Warrior King. The Woman Queen.
Samsonite.
You keep saying it. Just keep repeating it.
It's the Warrior King. Bet me.
No.
Bet me lunch for a month and a half.
Please, I can't afford that. You want to bet? It's the Warrior Queen, like I just said.
You're so wrong.
I'm looking at it right fucking.
Yeah, show me.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm looking.
It's fine.
He's like, I'm going to keep Googling until I find
I'll
it.
Google till
They really pushed that film down our throats.
Scorpion King. That's what it was.
Ha! I was way off.
The Woman King.
The Woman King. See? Is it the Woman King
It's
or
the
the Warrior
Stephen
King?
It's the Woman King. So you're wrong, I'm wrong. No one's.
No, I did say the Woman King at some point.
It's the Billie Jean King.
Bet me.
Anyways.
Billie Jean King.
Play it back, Scott.
He'll never do that.
So
I'm safe.
I know. You'll have to wait till the episode comes out. He'll edit just that part out because he won't do anything else.
Please do. Samsonite.
I also watched 3,000 Years of Longing.
Did you finish it?
I finished it.
Okay, because we talked about it last time. I started it.
It is what it is. I didn't.
George Miller's a fucking weirdo.
He
man.
is. I don't understand it. Apparently, he based it off of a very small, like a small story, a short story that he read about genies and stuff, and it's all
Jinn.
Yeah, and it's all about fucking. It's all about this genie fucking, and I don't care. And at the end, I didn't care, and I didn't think he was attracted to Tilda Swinton, and she's annoying in this movie.
Oh my god!
And
so
I
annoying. just starts off annoying. And
I didn't hate it, but I don't understand what he was going for. You know what I mean? Like
this man. Well, this man does things like he'll make things like the Road Warrior and things like that. And you're like, okay,
Chocolate's Web, I think.
And then he does stuff like
it was Babe.
Penguin, like so that
Happy
Penguin
Feet,
movie. There's like Happy
Feet.
Feet and like this movie, and it's like he doesn't have a lane that he wants to stay in. Like he's all over. And this movie, it starts off. I mean, it's pretty. It's got some weird and kind of interesting visuals, but it wasn't holding me. Like I had to turn it off. I couldn't finish watching it. I'm gonna go back and probably finish it, but I don't know how you did.
The ending is really weird and stupid. It's like he's a mythical being, but he's being killed by the like electromagnetic field caused by televisions and cell phone. And I'm just like, all right, dude. And I just
Call Saul. Jesus.
No, I didn't really care for. I love Idris Elba, and I didn't really care for him in this film. And I just thought Tilda Swinton was super fucking annoying. And it's all about like, oh, I can't make wishes because when has this ever been a good idea? And it's all about logic. And
she's
stuff like
she's very like introverted and always does her own thing. But she's part of this group that tells stories and does a convention in like Istanbul and finds this one thing that happens to have a djinn in it, and it's so weird, and I just
heavy-handed.
It's very. It's so far from what I've watched. Yes, you're right.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it
I can see why
needs to exist. Yeah, it doesn't. It's nothing original, and it's nothing worth talking about. So
the trailer sold it a lot better than the movie is selling it to me.
Yeah, it's just other stories about other people, about the Idris Elba's character, and you don't care. So that was the other.
Did you watch Beast at all?
No,
I was gonna watch it. That's another Idris Elba.
It's being touted as a horror film.
It reminds me of like
horror or horrible.
It kind of gives me a what it was that Val Kilmer movie, the Ghosts in the Darkness mixed with like Cujo. Like that's the vibe I'm getting from this, and I'll probably watch it so we can have something to talk about later. But yeah, I saw a trailer for it, when it released about 2-3 weeks ago into the theaters, and I'm like, this looks horrible.
Only story I got out of it was his daughter was trying to get in the movie and they wouldn't cast her, and I guess she got mad at him for not vouching, and he's like, you weren't good enough.
You didn't have the chemistry to be my daughter.
Yeah. So
I thought that was a good story too. I'm like, she lost out playing his daughter because the chemistry wasn't there. I'm like, fucking right.
Yeah.
Fucking kids.
So
yeah,
that's what I watched this week, and then all of us got a chance to go see the new A24 Ty West flick, Pearl,
the sequel to X.
Well, no, the prequel.
Prequel to X, which came out earlier this year. So it's amazing how quickly he was able to turn that around and get this out to theaters. And then we're gonna get a third movie.
It's probably already in the works.
You don't know the story about this?
I know that they filmed it all during the pandemic, and
so
it just kind of
they flew out to New Zealand to film X.
Yeah.
Well, when you get to New Zealand, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Right.
So while they were quarantined for 2 weeks, X had already been written.
Right.
So him and Mia Goth, the chick who's in it, wrote Pearl while they were quarantined. After they were done shooting X, which they did in 20 days.
Right.
They stayed for an extra week and shot Pearl.
Makes sense.
And well, I'm just saying. What?
No, I'm just no.
We already explained this.
No. I'm just saying it makes sense.
Oh, okay.
It shows.
So I just I like that story. I like the whole thing. I go ahead and shit on it so I can tell you why I loved it.
No. Ty West for me has been one of those hit and miss guys. Okay. Where we watched The House of the Devil, which I admittedly didn't enjoy as much as you and Scott did. This movie feels like that, where there was a lot of just fucking scenery up until we finally got some story. And that's what was hard about this movie, because the other movie...
The beginning was a snail race.
Oh my God.
Snail race.
And I didn't connect with the characters as much as I'd wanted to, especially knowing she's an old woman who's going to go fucking people later on in X. So where X did the whole... gritty Texas Chainsaw thing. All the characters were very interesting. There was a lot of things to want to know about them. It was cool to see everything play out, and I really enjoyed X. This I didn't enjoy as much, and it mainly boils down to I didn't care enough about the story. I just fucking didn't care, and it sucks because the movie is gorgeous. It is a Technicolor. It looks like a 1920s, 1930s. Bright, shiny, Wizard of Oz after she gets the ruby slippers type situation where the saturation is just ramped up. Everything is bright and happy, but I can't even say horror because it wasn't like a horror.
I think it was a drama thriller,
slasher.
Some parts of it that got it ramped up a little bit into that kind of horror area. Yeah. When you I think you get past that halfway point where it fucking crawls up to that point, and when she starts really kind of mentally breaking down, you get that where you got the parents, you got all the weird stuff kind of happening, and she's kind of turning. It's like that is when it kind of, and then all of a sudden it stopped again. And then it was just okay, we're done with that whole part. Now we're gonna
Aaron turns to me halfway through after she's had her second breakdown, and she's screaming. Where he goes, "Oh, they should have just called this Women the movie." I had to sit there and laugh during the whole fucking thing.
Well, because it's true. She's screaming at the guy. Why are you mad at me?
Man.
And blah blah blah. And that's fair. I mean, I totally get it. I'm just gonna let you know right now. I am a sucker for Ty West. I think he's really good at what he does. I heard many things about this before I saw it. Eli Roth apparently stood up and said he saw, during the premiere of X, said he saw Pearl and was like, it's even better than X. Now, I don't necessarily think that Pearl is better than X. However, I do think it's very good. And for all the reasons you hated it, I think are a lot of the reasons I liked it. You're right. It's very beautiful and Technicolor, and it's a love letter to Hollywood in that time.
I love that.
The
Pearl in quotes, and the way they did the beginning credits, and it was very old Hollywood. Yeah, and I was just all for that.
And I love that. But I think that there's a scene in this movie that sets it apart from a ton of different horror films, and it's when she is talking to Mitzi at the
I
table.
loved that scene.
And I thought that made that movie, like, it solidified everything that happened before it. I was like, that is fucking awesome.
I'm wondering how many takes that took, because that looked like a one camera, no
yeah,
panning,
it
no
was.
cuts,
There were no
just
cuts.
straight dialogue.
So for the average guy,
Yeah,
Mia Goth in this movie is actually fantastic.
She's great.
She is better than she was in X. This movie kind of really busts out her chops,
Her acting chops,
for
yeah.
acting, and I don't know if she'll get nominated for anything as far as any kind of
I
actress
doubt it.
stuff.
No, they don't like horror movies
But
for this
that's
kind of
what
stuff.
those are the type of performances that actually should get nominated, because she was actually really good.
She goes 0
and
to crazy
she
on
carried-
a dime, and
she
she does it
carried
great.
this movie.
She had to. She's
Yeah.
literally the only one on screen almost 99%.
Yeah,
of the time.
she carried the fucking story, because at some points the story was just not there. And I mean, her craziness. I mean, and that fucking end credits.
Oh,
where
dude,
she
the end
just
credits is
stares
one of
at
the
you.
best. So I
that was not.
that was
I didn't expect
insane.
that. And
And she just fucking starts crying, and like her
best
eyes are
end
rolling
credits
up.
I've
I
ever
mean,
seen.
it's super uncomfortable.
But you know what I thought was crazy is
Her.
But you know, like, so I'm just gonna spoil this. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Howard comes home, and if you've seen X, Howard is the husband in X who's helping her like kill people and like kind of giving her the the talk, like, oh, you are beautiful. How does he get involved?
And that's,
you know what I mean?
And this is where my gripe is that we're getting a third movie, but it takes place in 1985, and it deals with her character from X. I want to see the shit that happened between 1918 and 1979, because how the fuck did he deal with that crazy shit? How the hell did he let this go on, and what the fuck happened between? There is a better story, I think, in that portion than we're ever going to see.
That's
And
the story. Yes.
It's killing me, because like you could have condensed this movie down a little bit, told a little bit how she went a little crazy, did all some shit, bring him back, and then tack on an hour of some
more of
shit that
them.
happened after the fact.
I agree.
And we're not getting that, and that's where my gripe is that I feel like they left a lot of story off the table. Like, this was a great showpiece for her acting ability. Good for her. She did great. But there was something lacking for me. And I didn't care that if they didn't have a lot of gory kills. Like, that's not what I was going for. I heard this was very Technicolor and crazy, and that's what I wanted to see. And I got that. I feel like there's so much more that they could have done that I didn't get.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. It shows what, like, her turn into the crazy and what brought her there, and the mom. And I think you were supposed to hate, all these characters, and now you kind of know what's going to happen in the next 40 years. When does X take place? Like 75?
79.
Yeah, so you're like, so it makes a lot of sense to me. I would have liked more. That's my only gripe. That's the only thing that keeps it from a 5 for me. But I enjoyed her crazy turn. I enjoyed her screaming at that guy in the farmhouse. I enjoyed
Fucking
all the
dick and
stuff.
crazy, man.
Yeah, the fucking
like,
once
ooh.
she just decides, like, okay, I'm gonna start killing people. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And when X happens, you find that guy in the basement and stuff.
Right.
And I would like to see, like, when did they decide to start doing
Yeah,
this and
like,
stuff.
what's going on? Like, is this a normal, she needs to be satiated that way
Right.
every couple months? Is she the fucking new
And I
Jeepers
think
Creepers?
so, because
Like,
she talks about, like, having the miscarriage and fucking, killing and how good it makes her feel. And maybe he's like, well, in order to keep her, I need to
sacrifice something.
sacrifice.
Because
these
they
people.
roll dude's car and him into that water. Well, she
Yeah.
does it. It's reminiscent of in X where they come across that car in the water. So it's
Right.
like, how many fucking cars are buried in that little river with the alligators?
Right.
And it's like, like I said, there's so much more between 1918 and 79 that we don't get to see that I think would be very interesting to
And maybe
explore.
he's saving that. Maybe it's gonna be
You never know,
Yeah,
but
there's definitely a more intriguing story there
Yeah.
than what we're kind of getting right now.
like I'm interested to see what they do with Maxine, this third movie that they're going to do in 85, but I honestly don't care enough about her character from X to see what happened to her after the fact. I don't. Like, I do feel this story should be between, the Pearl and X. But, I'm going to give it a chance because, honestly, I loved X enough, and I enjoyed this to a point enough to give this third movie an open mind, and I'm actually excited to see it. Like,
Yeah,
good for you for getting a fucking trilogy out when people can't get one fucking movie on the screen anymore.
I think Mia Goth is gonna be cast in a lot of stuff now. Like she's
been in a lot of like random indie stuff. I think she's the mother of Shia LaBeouf's kid, so she's with him.
Really?
Yeah, they met on Nymphomaniac, I believe.
I want to see that. We're gonna have to pick that for the show one day.
There's like I think two parts. Yeah,
we'll have to just do a double feature.
That'll be a fun one to talk about. But yeah, I guess they met on the set of that. So they were kind of together and married. She had a baby. They broke up and then they kind of reconciled. So he's kind of back with her again. She's a weird actress because I feel she was in the remake of Suspiria.
Yep.
She's attractive, but in a weird way to me. Like she's like, especially in Pearl, she's got this
super attractive.
Well, there's scenes where it looks like she has no eyebrows, so I'm sitting there going, "Why don't you have eyebrows?" And then she does, and it's weird. But she's got these high cheekbones, and when she's got that big, bright red makeup on, and like I said, the saturation is turned way up. Like I really enjoyed when she went to audition in the church. Like it turned into like a song and dance number,
Yeah,
and then she's just
cool.
like, "I did it. This is the best I can do. You fucking hire me." And they're like, "Nah."
I know.
Nah, and then I thought she was just gonna like go away and then like freak out, but no, she broke down on stage, and then it leads into like that scene that you were talking about where her and Mitzi are at the table, and Mitzi's like, "Oh, you can be honest, just tell me what you would tell Howard," and then she just like legit for 15 minutes straight just lays it all out. I've been doing this, this is the way I feel, I've done this, and then she gets more into it where she's like, I killed mom, I killed dad, I killed this guy, I did this. And then Mitzi's just like, Mitzi's just sitting there going,
she didn't kill the baby, she had a scared.
Well, that's what she's saying.
Yeah,
Like,
she's just happy it was gone.
Yeah, she's
because
happy
she
it was
didn't want
gone
to be mom.
and made her feel good.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, oh, Mitzi's fucking awkward right now. Mitzi's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm like, run, Mitzi, run. Like, you should have got up after the first time she said she killed mom. Like, I'm out. and mom wasn't even like, she didn't even like really kill her. It was like an accident that kind of parlayed into, well, I'm going to go stuff your burnt ass into the fucking basement. Die, bitch, die. You know what I mean? Like,
but then there was like that, like she went and hugged her and was thinking about her singing and stuff about
she just
regrets
wanted a
what she's
life.
doing and, but
weird.
she can't
It's like a
stop
mommy
herself.
dearest.
Well, you could see the quick turn that she did when she was making that weird fucking dance scene with the scarecrow, and she kisses the scarecrow. Which, by the way, scariest looking fucking scarecrow I've ever seen.
I thought it was a real.
Like,
I thought
it
he was going to
person.
come to life.
I'm like,
I was
shit,
waiting for it.
This
His
thing is gonna
eyes
fucking.
open.
I
Me too.
was freaking out, and she kisses it, and then immediately flips to, "I'm fucking married." She flips out, and I'm like, "Oh, she crazy."
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean,
like even worse than I thought.
she should be crazy living in this fucking life.
So this is okay. So I know it's going to be hard for the audience to put themselves in this position, but you have to imagine there's a pandemic out there, and people are wearing masks
I thought
everywhere.
that was actually very
and people are segregating, and then you have to quarantine and stuff like that. So I know that's hard to really feel and think about, but
Yeah, you really got to put yourself in these people's shoes and kind of separate reality. And
dude,
I just thought it was ironic.
it was legit. Just like they took everything from now, and then they're like, well, if we set this here, it could be an allegory of how we live our lives now. And I'm just sitting there going, I get it. Right on the nose, man. Mom's all freaked out. You're going to have to go quarantine because you went to a movie and you could get me sick. Get the fuck out of the house. And
it sounds like you liked it more than you thought.
There's parts that I really enjoyed. And like I said, it's a beautiful movie. Like, I can't stress this enough. Like, it's a gorgeous, and I love the way they did it. I think making it a song and dance number from the 40s and just bright and shiny and pretty, even though it takes place in 1918, I think made this movie fun to watch. I just think the story was not what I wanted from it.
Okay.
And it is what it is. It happens. And again, she did a great job. I just don't feel like there was enough there to really do anything.
That's
like
fair.
It didn't get good until like 2/3 into the movie for me. And by that time, I'm just like already checked out. I mean, dipshit already ruined Clerks 3.
He was same guy from last week.
Fuck.
Decides to come and sit
and
right
laugh at the
next,
most
same
awkward
row.
parts.
same row. But that was before the kids were violently beating themselves up.
A whole
also,
row.
Dude,
also,
like,
I'm gonna get.
what were they, 7?
I don't know.
I
Who
don't know how
sells
they
these
got
kids
in the
movie
movie.
tickets to this movie?
I'm gonna get controversial here.
You hate white people. Gotta
These
go.
12-year-olds were dressed like slutty, and I'm assuming it's to turn people on. But I can tell you something. It did not.
Aaron's like, I was not turned on.
I wanted to grab them by the ear and take them to their mom.
This is your dad. This is Dad Aaron talking.
This is what you thought was acceptable.
Well, they were all at the concession stand when we came out of Clerks 3, and they were acting like assholes.
Complete
They were,
assholes.
yelling, screaming, throwing popcorn at the concession stand at each other. We go into the theater, and they're all in the fucking back of the theater.
And this theater was small. Like, back of the theater, like there's 4 rows. Like, there's 4 rows, a gap, and then there's 4 rows in front of us. So this is a very small theater. So when you say back of the theater, you're talking literally right behind us. This whole time.
So Dad Jordan is like
pissed. I'm already mad from the last
Not going to happen. He gets up, walks out, then the movie guy comes in, stands up against the wall.
Straight up narked on there. I don't care. I would have walked in with my half-eaten hot dog and pointed right at their fucking dumbass faces if I had
they
to.
were like slamming on chairs. They were like wrestling in the back of the row.
Because it was either turn around and yell at their fucking asses and embarrass Aaron, or do the right thing and just get somebody in charge.
It's all good. That's why I told you to go get somebody. If
the oldest one was maybe 15 or 16.
To be honest, when it's stuff like that, as long as before the movie, I would have said something. Been like, dude, are you serious? This is a fucking movie. Well, because I didn't do that
you could
shit.
almost see the progression that if they're doing it this much now, they're
Right.
gonna do it during the movie.
And
they're not here to see this. They just want to be out.
Yeah, they wanted to be with their
Fucking
girls.
16-year-old sluts.
Dude, they were dressed so wild. It
I
was
know.
the
And
wildest thing I've ever
Dude,
seen.
one of them
And I
I
don't
looked
know-
at and I go, what is she, 10?
And I don't know if
she
I've
had-
told you before. I have kids.
And
Makeup, dude.
Caked on with makeup, belly shirt, and I'm
was
like,
bad.
all I can think of is like, this is meant to attract someone. Like,
This
it's going
is
to attract
Old
the
Man
wrong
Podcast.
person.
Talking about
I don't
our
care.
gripes with the young
Listen
folk.
to me. Listen to me, folks out there. Stop letting your kids dress like this. And I don't want to hear that. Well, they can do whatever they want. You know? No. It's inappropriate.
You're not leaving my house
It's
that
inappropriate because I promise you, that between the 3 of us, we're sitting there like, what the fuck? Some predator is going to grab them because they're not going to be
Yeah,
able
he was
to help
laughing
them.
next to Scott this time.
I wouldn't have been surprised, dude. That guy was creepy as shit.
But they bailed. I mean, half of them bailed in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Well,
All of them
Yeah,
bailed.
one of the
And then
guys
they
had to
all
check his
kind of-
Grindr account
Well,
or something.
the two girls
was
came
different.
down and sat next to him. They came down. They were with that group.
They were?
They
Oh,
hung for about half that movie.
They
and
were-
then
they were there for
eventually
most of it.
Bounced halfway through
and the
movie.
funny thing is, they started talking and laughing and stuff like that. And I'm already over on the far end, hearing it annoyed. And I'm sitting there going, I really want to yell at them. I want them out of here. But they're between Scott and Laughing Guy.
Laughing
I'm
McGee.
hoping they're pissing him off. Like, I'm like, I want him to be annoyed.
Hey, I'm alone.
I'm trying to enjoy this.
I'm alone.
During Pearl. Like, he's even doing that. Like, there's no laugh out loud funny parts of this movie. There's some funny situations
with me.
French porn.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was a weird movie. But I'm gonna say this, and I said it last week. Fuck you, Gilbert Regal. I'm never going to you again.
Yeah, fuck.
Just
fuck
kidding.
off.
There's probably something.
Yeah, I
wrong
probably
with
want to go
this.
see Donna Dead there. Anyways,
But you're gonna have to drag me there.
so Scott, what did we watch this
Hold on,
week?
what'd you give Pearl?
Oh, I gave it 3.5.
Okay.
So I rated it last night. I gave it a 3.5 because I did want to see more of like the Howard and her, but I thought Mia Goth was so fucking good that it's
I do
it's
think-
high up on my list of the year.
I do think
So-
ending it the way they did, though, with him walking in going, what the fuck is going on
Yeah.
here? And she's just like, honey, you're home. And then just big dumb smile, and then she holds it. I mean, we left during the credits, and she probably would have kept that going for another 3
Well, she
4
does.
minutes.
She was changing her face throughout the.
Oh, no, she
watching
was
it.
straining. Like, she's like,
Well, she's straining, and then her
tears are
eyes get
coming.
red, and then she starts tears coming down, but she's still holding the smile, you know. And it just
Could you imagine
encapsulates
coming home
the
and
fucking
then, like,
crazy.
I almost
Mama
wonder
and Daddo are just dead at the table. There's a
I'm
gross
wondering
pig, and
if
she's like,
he's-
honey, you're home.
if he stays and kind of embraces it because he's afraid of death,
Or he's fucked up because of the war.
yeah. So
And that's why I
maybe
feel
it's
like
kind
there's
of
so
like
much story.
Well, that and
choose
where
your
else
own
does he
adventure.
go? You know,
Yeah.
where else does he go? At
back
that
to his
point?
mom.
Turn to page 5.
You know, I mean, he's got the house
Yeah,
there.
but what happened to Mitzi? I know what I
got
mean. Like, they don't.
Chopped up.
I know. Well, that was. See, that's the thing. Like, I didn't need all the blood and guts and gore, and then that little sequence at the end where she's staging the tableau with the parents and chopping up Mitzi and doing all this
that
shit. I'm like, this is
I
fucking
like
great.
that it cuts away from most of the horror stuff, and then at the end it's just like, nope, watch her
We're,
chop off
we're
a
gonna
head.
chop
watch her
Mitzi's head off, and
Yeah.
there goes her arms, and she's
Torso.
going into the fucking gator farm.
She's
It's like,
not joining that fucking church group.
Nope. So, I would say it's a 2.5 for me. Just middle ground. I think X is a superior movie to this. They're very different. Like, this is a polarizing movie, but
if you walked out and held both in your hand, I'd say let's watch X. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to watching Pearl again.
yeah. No, Pearl, I'm going to give it a chance again, just maybe because I was in such a bad mood from most of the night.
I would like. I already bought X. And I'm hesitant to buy. There's like German 4Ks out there and stuff like that, and I've been looking at eyeballing them.
Well, now that you know there's a trilogy,
I'm wondering
do
if
you
want
to wait?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know, but
That's
at
the
same
problem
time,
with buying shit.
I want to buy Pearl and watch the commentary. Like I want to hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah.
Because apparently it's a lot of like horror people that like were in on it. So I don't know. What'd you give it, Scott?
The movie itself is probably about a 2.5.
Fuck.
I think with her acting in it,
You said 2.5.
it pushes it to about a 3. I think she does carry a lot of this movie. Where if it wasn't for her acting, I don't think this movie would have been as good.
No,
as
anybody
it
else in
was.
that role, this wouldn't have been
Yeah.
remotely close.
So it's
even
probably
if-
like like I say, a soft 3.
Cool. All right. And then what is our movie for the week, Scott?
So wrapping up the double header, we're gonna get
Fuck you for this.
Gary Cooper, a very young and
vibrant college age
vibrant
Gary Cooper.
Gary Cooper playing
I'm
Lou
playing a
Gehrig
I'm playing a 19-year-old. I'm 58 years old.
from 1942, The Pride of the Yankees.
Tanglefoot?
The story of an American hero, cheered and idolized by millions, a symbol of courage and true sportsmanship. The Pride of the Yankees, a strange and fascinating drama in the real life of a man, his hopes, his dreams. In a nationwide poll, millions of Americans voted one man to play the coveted role. That man, Academy Award-winning Gary Cooper. Teresa Wright is the woman who loved and understood him.
Lou Gehrig, I think I could learn to like you.
Walter Brennan, Dan Duryea, the Sultan of Swat, Babe Ruth, and there's Velos and Yolanda, and Ray Noble and his internationally famous orchestra.
Well, you've been out with me 4 days in a row, and you're out with me here tonight. Well, isn't that what best girls do?
The Babe's gonna try for a home run, but it's not for the crowd. I'll tell you something the crowd doesn't know anything about. This one's gonna be for a little boy in a St. Louis hospital. It's an IOU from the Sultan of Swat to a little crippled kid. Will he pay it?
Today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
That was so. Yeah, that was the only weird part. Well,
Not the only, but
not the only weird part, but the one glaring weird part is that Gary Cooper is, I don't know, what was he, 44, 45 in this
he was
movie?
in his 40s, yeah.
Late 40s,
Mid
and
to late 40s.
he's playing a college kid. He's supposed to be playing a college-level Lou Gehrig.
Well, yeah, Lou Gehrig, the story starts off as Lou Gehrig is a kid, and then they fast forward a little bit to college-era Lou Gehrig, so you're thinking 1819, and this man is pushing 45. And he looks it.
And I'm
he's not even selling
I'm like,
19.
I can suspend some disbelief here, because the one thing that I do sometimes hate in movies is when they cast somebody as a younger version of someone
That looks nothing
that
like
looks
him.
nothing like the person is going to look. I mean, you could at least kind of come close, give us something similar, but they're just like, nope, you're doing it.
Well, it's like movies like I watched I watched Uncharted. I know I saw that different from you
That's
guys.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, there was a moment where it's like Uncharted, this kid is like probably, 12? And then fast forward to like 19-year-old Tom Holland. I'm sorry,
Completely
between
different
12 and 19, you're not going to drastically change your face that
Did you
much.
see Uncharted with me?
You two
Yes.
went. I was down in Tucson at the time, and I,
I
saw
don't
it.
even fucking remember. So much I do not care about that movie.
But
That one actually wasn't bad.
that's what
It
I
wasn't
said.
bad.
I remember because I was down in Tucson training, and
It
I
was a fun
saw it
watch.
like on a Thursday, and I was like, yeah, you know what? As
I
shitty as it
remember
was
now.
going to be looking,
Did we go to the
enjoyed
Regal?
it. Yeah, because you wanted the Batman shit, remember? That's when you got your bucket.
No, we saw it at Cinemark.
That's right.
Because I got the cup. Yeah.
I saw the cover.
So, but yeah, that movie was such a glare. Like I said, you don't change that much between 12 and Tom Holland. Like no, and yeah, no. Gary Cooper, is not 19.
Yeah,
No, he's not. But I mean, so essentially, this movie breaks down to a 2-hour movie of
snooze
Lou
fest.
Lou Gehrig.
Oh my god!
So
Aggressively nice snooze fest.
Sugar coated.
You're kind of This is the one problem I did have with the movie is that it does kind of just glaze over everything. So it takes his life from a young child all the way to the point where he makes his famous speech, and it packs it into 2 hours. So you get kind of just a brush of everything. And I wanted a little bit more of the baseball end of it because obviously, I mean, I like the baseball movies. You got a lot about his marriage, and a lot of like him, coming up through baseball and, his personality and how he was like, he wasn't even kind of the guy until, the other guy got hurt and he got beaten in the head, and then he got in, and then that's where you get, which is again, a huge part of the story is the streak.
He was another pratfall.
He was the Iron Horse, man.
2000
like 136 games or something like that stood for 55 years in baseball.
Was it Nolan Ryan?
No, it was Cal Ripken
Jr. that beat it.
But he beat it by like 100 games. I mean, it's a 55-year record, man. I mean, those are the things that's like baseball, but this was kind of more about his relationship, I think, with his wife. Because even when we get to the end of it the ALS, you only really get just a snippet of it because he's like, he's feeling he's not right, and then he falls off a stool, and then there's really not much. He's kind of rubbing his hands, but they don't really kind of touch on it.
2-hour movie, and they fit literally Lou Gehrig's disease and ALS into the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, by the way, he's sick. Done. It's like they sugar-coated a lot of this, and I think this is the problem when you make a biopic so close to the events that happened, especially in the 40s. They weren't going to present the gritty side of fucking Lou Gehrig.
No.
They weren't. They were not. To the point of, because this came out, 1942, you had a dance number in the middle of this movie that didn't belong.
To break out and dance.
I'm sorry. Like, it's not even like the characters dancing. You literally like, and here's Glenn Miller's Fun Time Band. And then it's like you watch like a serious like dance number that didn't belong here. And it's a product. It's such a product of its time.
I enjoyed the first part, like maybe the first third of the movie and the last third of the movie. The middle of the movie with kind of going over his relationship and
Did you tenderfoot?
Getting married is kind of it kind of was like, I'm like, okay, boring. But the first part of it where he's like coming up and is talking about like him getting into baseball, and then the end of it kind of playing with the Yankees and stuff.
Do you love his love affair with his mother?
Aaron fucking hated it. He said it was he said it's
quote
unquote
so
a slog fest.
It's a slog fest.
I didn't think so. I didn't think it was that slow.
That's because you're old, man.
Because in this movie, I get one of the best moments as a baseball fan when they're in the locker room.
Is it the part where it was slow?
Fucking
the other part where
Babe
it was slow?
Ruth walks in the door, dude. I got the most giant smile on my face to hear Babe Ruth talk and to see him on screen. I was talking to Jordan about this, and you never really saw, like when you see stills, you see black and whites, you see him playing, you see him like talking with people. It's all like silent stuff. To see him on screen, that's like a baseball lover's dream, to see the most iconic baseball player on screen.
I gotta say, it was very
in
interesting.
The Sandlot. He comes out and he's like, "Hey,
not the same guy.
That's not Babe Ruth."
I know.
Hey, wait a minute. That wasn't Babe Ruth.
Wait,
Was that John Goodman?
No, it was not.
I was going to say, what? That wasn't John Goodman. Was
John Goodman played Babe Ruth in a movie.
Not in The Sandlot.
Not in
The
Sandlot,
Babe.
In The Babe.
I've seen that one, actually.
You guys should jerk off to it.
We will. We're going to jerk off to The Babe.
Dude,
I'm the same way. Like, I may not have been totally into this movie, but to see Babe Ruth walking around, talking, acting, being in this movie, especially literally 2, maybe 3 years removed from living these events with Lou Gehrig, that's actually very impressive. Like, to say we're going to make this movie. Also, I know you just dealt with this. You just cried at his fucking funeral. Yeah. You cut the line. You wept over his open casket. Hey, do you want to be in the fucking movie? How do you fucking ask Babe Ruth to do that? And for him to say, yeah, sure.
Yep.
I got to
I'll be
pay
in the
some
movie.
gambling debts.
He's probably like, yeah, is it going to be boring? And let's boring
But
it up,
it
dog.
kind of shows something like, so when he visits that kid in the hospispittal,
Oh, that was
Babe
great.
Ruth is there for the publicity.
Oh, for sure.
He's fucking there for the publicity.
The
of it,
whole
man.
time I was watching that part, all I could think of was
Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Where he's like, Kramer, you think they could hit 3 home runs? And then he goes back and he's dead. And he's like, oh my God.
Because wasn't he trying to get the signed photo back?
Yeah.
Like it was Mr.
Yeah.
Peterman's or something like that. But yeah, no, I love that because then it's like, all right, well, get good well, kid. And he's like, oh, Mr. Garrick, I also like you. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll hit one. Can you hit 2? I'm
Right.
like, shit.
He's like, all right.
Now, I think this, much like 8 Men Out, was a very on the surface history of Lou Gehrig. This was just sugar. Like, it was nothing but sugar. Even there's a point where I thought, and I told you guys this before, when I thought shit was about to turn. The wife was, has his manager. It was like a traveling reporter that followed not Babe, but Lou Gehrig, the entirety of his career. Kind of a friend. He goes over and he's not home yet. And she goes, oh, I know where he's at. She's playing it up. And he goes, no, he's a swell guy. He's a stand-up guy. He would never do that.
He'd never do
he's
that.
He's true blue and all this shit. And she's like, I'm going to go confront him. Wait, you know where he's at? You're going to go confront him? No, I'm coming with you. And they're riding the car and she's just selling it. She's just like fuming. They pull up and Lou Gehrig is literally umpiring a fucking kid's Sandlot game. And the guy was just like, aw, shucks. And I'm like, fuck you. I thought you were going to walk in on Lou Gehrig, tramping around with some chick. And I'm like, this movie's too fucking sweet. There's just no, even like I said, even they gloss over the ALS, and I'm just like, okay.
And it's, I
get it.
And his biggest part of his career was actually obviously the speech at the end.
Yes.
I mean, and it's been replicated in tons of, movies where people reference it. Today.
Right.
I consider myself they do the
Right.
whole thing, man. And that even went super quick. They kind of just glossed over it. I know they changed it and kind of cut it for the movie, but it just happened so fast that it was like, okay, I retired, I'm done. Movie, credit.
Well, I'm wondering, did they film that the way they normally film it, or did they superimpose footage? Because the way it almost looked like green screen. And I know green screen wasn't really a thing then. It was like he's standing probably in front of a movie screen. There
was a lot of movie screen, like when the cops were
that fucking
going
scene.
to pull him over, and you
Pull
could
over,
see
and
they
they're
were
"Wee."
next to a movie screen, doing it.
Right. No, I expected Groucho Marx to be in a sidecar getting left.
Yeah, right.
No, the speech scene kind of felt like they had done that in front of old footage, because I can't imagine Babe Ruth refilming that moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? They probably had it there, and there were things in the movie that was, like I said, they were really cool. It's neat to see the history of it. There was that bracelet, like I said last night, that he gave his wife in the movie was the exact bracelet that he gave his wife in real life, and the wife let the studio use it. Things like that are cool. I think behind the scenes and story of things, it sucks that it's far more interesting than what I watched, but I liked it.
It kind of suffers the same thing as last week's movie, where it wants you to you kind of, if you take it at face value, it's okay. When you start deep diving it, it makes it way more interesting, because now you're getting all the information.
It's a springboard to do more research.
Did you do the ice bucket challenge after you watched it?
Oh yeah, it's just
I wanted to keep myself awake.
Well, and what it does is it
hated
makes me
so much
realize he had ALS, and God, we still haven't figured that shit out.
But they didn't even that's what and I was talking to Aaron about this yesterday, because I actually worked with a guy who contracted this and had episodes while he was working, and he would just I mean, just for an example, one day I'm working and I hear this thud behind me, and I look over and he's laying on the ground, and he's like, no, I'm cool, man. It's I'll get myself up. You don't really get that whole how bad it is in the movie.
No.
When, it is a crippling disease that just overtakes your body, and it does it super quick, to a point where within inside of a year, man, this guy was gone.
Right.
So, all you get is him falling off a stool. You get him kind of rubbing his hands.
My shoulder's hurt. It must be, I must have done something.
He never saw Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well,
Poor
The
guy.
problem is, he notoriously, and this is not even in the movie. This is the stuff that you have to like deep dive on. He was notorious for playing through injuries and playing through being sick because you don't leave that streak. He was so devoted to playing. He would play with broken fingers. He would be playing sick and stuff like that. So that's what when he's like, oh, I must have tweaked my shoulder. That's why he kept playing. Like he wasn't gonna let it stop him. And
shit,
I think
my shoulder hurts. Should I?
Fuck, I'm always tired.
ALS.
Yeah,
Dump a bucket of ice water in your head. You'll be good.
Cure my fucking shoulder.
At least be numb. So, like the scene where he falls off the thing, like his buddy in the dugout was like, yeah, don't pick him up. And I'm just like, is it because he was too proud?
And you kind of wonder why.
Or are they trying not to make a big deal out of it? Because, at some point they kind of start to turn on him when they start losing games because he's not hitting as well or he's not making the plays, and they're like, fuck, he's fucking us up. And to the point where one guy in the the clubhouse is bad-mouthing him before he comes back in, and the other player just fucking decks him, puts him on the ground, and he's like, what's going on here? Oh, he's talking out of turn. And I'm just like, what a fucking old way of saying he's fucking running his mouth.
Yep.
Like, I love it. I'm going to start using that from now on as he's talking out of turn.
Talking out of turn, yeah.
Just punch him in the face.
I'm glad you guys had a lot to talk about because
he was falling asleep talking about it.
I fucking hated this movie. I watched it at 6 a.m. And I was well up, and there was nobody to bother me, and I threw it on. I actually watched it on YouTube.
I did too.
And it was too nice. There was nothing going on. Nothing happens. We get it. You're a nice dude and you get ALS, but who cares?
You didn't like how the mom was so against baseball, and then later on she was like naming stats off, like, this
how
is
about
this
the
and
fact
this is
that
that.
it was a weirdly inappropriate relationship with
I
his
guess
mom.
that's how his mom was in real life. Like she
You're my
she
best
chased
gal.
fucking
I was like,
people away
Jesus.
from him in his life.
And I don't know what your guys' obsession is with these boring ass baseball movies. Like,
It's baseball.
okay, well, there's better movies out there. Please,
I
pick
like
them.
historical drama, like period pieces. Like I love that kind
Part
of
of
stuff.
history, man. Fucking Babe Ruth.
I think I love that.
It's not
period
even about
between-
Babe Ruth. Shut
I
the hell
know,
up.
but you get Babe Ruth.
I
for
mean, and it's
Christ's
not
sake.
like John Goodman playing Babe. That's Babe fucking Ruth.
And do you know him
Like
personally?
it's like 8 Men Out was filmed with shoeless Joe Jackson.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, or you see a movie that has that real person in there. Like it's just it lends to something kind of almost iconic. It may not be a good movie, but you got to see fucking Babe Ruth. Like that's neat.
Okay. So what'd you give it?
For me, again, way too fucking sweet. Really glossed over some shit. I think some of it is more interesting, the behind the scenes, especially Gary Cooper doing this as a favor to the fucking studio. He didn't want to be in it. He doesn't like baseball.
Never
He didn't know
went to a
anything
baseball game.
They had to teach him how to play baseball. In one scene, they had to reverse his jersey and have him run to third because I guess Lou Gehrig was a lefty and he's a righty. So in one scene, they had to reverse everything to make it look like he's hitting left and running to first and all this shit. And then later they fixed it with training, but he's just he felt watching him play baseball felt awkward.
Yeah.
The weird shit just he would do and the way he held his bat, just even for a uninitiated baseball person like myself, just found fault in it. It was so awkward. 2.5. It's just it's neat for what it was. I love old movies. I loved seeing Babe Ruth, but as far as story goes, I don't think I could ever watch it again.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I think that, again, it glossed over a lot of that information and tried to pack it all into 2 hours. The movie itself is a 2.5. It's a 3 because of Babe Ruth, but the movie itself is a 2.5. Like I said, Babe Ruth comes on screen. I fucking grinned like a fucking 10-year-old when I saw
that's
Babe
'cause you
Ruth.
act like it to you.
It was
No, he's hung like a 10.
if you're a baseball fan and you have not seen this movie, I recommend
I don't.
just watching it just to see Babe Ruth in the movie.
And I think that's why people regard this as such a great movie, is that if you're a real baseball fan,
Yes.
you hold these legacy players as gods of the sport. So to see not only the story of Lou Gehrig, as it is, seeing Babe Ruth would be like, holy shit, it's like being a part of history and you're just watching it on screen. It's neat. Like I can see that. It's really cool.
Okay.
All right. Give it to me.
There's nothing to give to you.
Give it to me.
You guys like it for different reasons than I hate it. I did not like this movie. This does not resonate at all with me. I like old movies. You know this. Black and white, even better. This movie was a fucking sugar-coated popsicle in a pantheon of fucking baseball movies. I don't care that Babe Ruth is in it. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? He has like 2 seconds of dialogue. I don't care about him.
No, he's great. He's part of
He
the
was in, like,
great
a third of the- he was in a
hat
third of the
chewing
movie.
scene of the fucking train. Like, that was great. Eat
Yeah.
the straw hat.
Yeah.
Where's my hat?
Yes.
Lou Gehrig's eating it.
Yeah, I know.
Take 2 bites, fatty.
Yeah.
That was great.
I just
kinda wanna get those straw hats.
I don't get your mindset when it comes to this shit. It's not good. It's very bad. It's people like it. That's cool. You like it. That's cool. I do not like it. I thought there was some really weird film like things going on in here with him being a 19-year-old. It's like we don't have the budget to hire a real 19-year-old and make this like a 3-act thing. He has to go from small kid to Gary Cooper. And I was just that's just one of my smallest gripes, but it was boring. It's a boring fucking movie. You know what happens. He dies. You do the ice bucket challenge. It's still going on today. You know who? Make a Steve Gleason movie. How about that? You know who that is?
No.
He's the guy who blocked the kick from the Saints, and then he got ALS and he's dead now.
It's the Saints. No one cares about the Saints.
That's fine. But it was after Katrina. It was a big deal. So it's a 1. And it's not has nothing to do with you, but it does make me excited that your streak is finally over. Because I was so tired of you fucking
with you.
You guys weren't that favorable.
The real
before.
men over here can have a baseball conversation.
The real men. Suck it. Watch Randy Johnson hit more seagulls or some shit. I don't care.
That was great.
Another great moment in baseball history.
Baseball's boring. It's not America's pastime. Fuck baseball. It's boring.
See the Ichiro stuff the other week where they got
Christ.
that chick back.
Here's the fucking baseball podcast.
Yep.
Again, not into baseball, but I think moments like that are kind of cool.
Baseball is full of fantastic moments.
Oh, there's a lot of shit moments, but yeah, there are moments where it's like, okay, that's cool.
Okay, so that's now that fucking is over. Thank you guys so much for listening to the baseball podcast. We are going to be moving right into Oktoberfest Superthon. We got the snack show. We got the snack show coming up, and then we are doing the October double feature horror fest. Blah. We might throw some new stuff in there. I think we got a guest coming on this month too, and we'll get into all that later. Right now, we just got to figure out how we're going to do these shows. So
we'll get it done.
Double feature, I go first. We are going with Terrifier.
What if that guy did this to your car?
What guy? The clown? Do you really think someone slashed my tires?
Well, he knows this is your car. He saw us getting into it earlier.
Hey, handsome! Cut it out. My friend wants your number.
Kill you.
What is it, Tara?
Dawn and I are sort of stranded. She has a flat tire and no spare, and I was kind of hoping you could pick us up.
Now is just remain calm and stay on the line with me until the police arrive.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What, did you think he was gonna hack me up into little pieces or something?
Which none of us have seen, and I find that
surprising.
To be very surprising.
I have to look it up,
I have never heard anybody not shut the fuck up about this movie. So I'm hoping that does not ruin my experience, because honestly,
I have seen the clown. Like every time I watch any like top 10 or horror movie things, villain wise, they're always showing this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it's like, Okay, why haven't I seen this?
And I'm seeing people get fucking tattoos of this guy. And
For
how,
the love of God, hopefully there's no baseball in it.
if there's I will fucking, I'll fight myself.
Tell me we need to write that baseball horror movie.
I'm going to find one.
And the second movie is The Wailing.
이렇게 소문이 바다한 말이요. 무슨 이유가 있는 거요. 이유가.
요새 자꾸 동네에서 사람 죽어나가는 거요. 그놈이랑 뭔 연관이 있는 거요? 싹 다 그 양반이 오거나 생긴 일들 아니오. 여기다 뭔 일이 다냐 그래?
요소 다 죽어붙었어.
직접 본 거야?
한번 봤지.
맞는가?
이 뭐가 이제 이거 뭐야 이거?
아따.
자네 며칠 전에 만나면 안 되는 것을 만난 적 있지? 아내가 그곳을 건드려 그랬어?
똑같아 증상이 그 사람들이. 그놈이 자꾸 눈에 빼는 것은 그놈이 자꾸 찾아가고 빼는 것이라. 피를 말려 죽이는.
I'm not actually sure anything about that film. I know.
God, I hope it's a whaling movie. It's about the Japanese.
I think it is a Japanese
whale boats.
Movie. It is from 2016, and it is a. I think you're gonna have to read, Scott. Sorry, South Korean horror film.
Oh, okay.
Written and directed by Na Hong Jin and starring Kwak Don Won.
I love when we pick these movies
And
because
Aaron
I
has
just
to read the names.
I love when he just butchers them. Like,
I
it makes
butchered
me
them?
so. I don't know, but it just sounds like almost offensive when you say them.
And
I know you're not even trying.
Yeah, he made some. He's made some other stuff that nothing I've ever like sat down to watch. But
Hey, you see they're putting Old Boy back in the theater next year?
Are they really?
They're remastering
Oh,
it,
baby.
4K, and putting it in the theater.
Well, I have the 4K.
I know, but they're redoing it.
Yeah, we have to see it. What?
There's
Does that say
baseball horror
battery or
movies.
batter boy?
There's
Okay.
one that says battery.
You're not gonna just pick fucking baseball movies all the time now. Just to
fucking picking it.
No, you're not.
This is his old time war movie. He's just gonna do baseball movies.
Please don't. And Terrifier is from 2016. It stars Jenna Cannell, Samantha Scafidi. I don't know how to say these names. Directed by Damien Leone. And
Yeah,
he's-
like I said, I've always seen it come across lists.
It looks like
and-
he's done some crazy stuff. Like there's a movie called All Hallows Eve, and it looks like the Terrifier clown.
Nice.
So I don't know if this is based off of a short film he made or anything like that.
Now,
but
did you check beforehand whether these movies were accessible to anybody
Terrifier
but
is-
yourself?
Terrifier is on Shudder. I know that.
Because I had
I'm
to
sure-
pay for Scott's movie the last time. No, I'm not just kidding.
What movie?
No, what
The
movie did
Wailing
I pay
should
for? I
be-
paid for yours.
It was Aaron's movie.
Mine, The Last Picture Show.
And
Yeah, I had to
I'm-
pay for it too.
I know, I'm
Relax.
just saying.
It's $3. I mean, Jesus.
Did you check?
No, actually, I didn't. So, did you check for your movies?
Yeah, both of them are available.
Aaron's like, I'm going to pick this Korean movie that you can't even fucking find.
We literally have to go to like the fucking what is it, the Asian Mart on Dobson?
Yeah.
And to go cruise that.
It's on Tubi.
Okay,
So,
well, that's the best way to watch movies.
I don't mind. You mind. I don't mind. So that's what we got coming up. As always, you can email us at watchitlaterpodcast.com. Not I'll watch it later because that's too many letters.
That's way too many letters.
But watchitlaterpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a call. Give us a email. I think.
Give me your phone number.
Beth Clark. She emailed us, and we'll get to that email next week during the snack show.
Well, if you want to email us, and maybe we'll let you call in and talk with us.
Yeah, you can call us. I don't give a fuck.
Look, we're running short on content. Someone, please call
No,
us.
we're not.
We got so much to talk.
We have so much to talk about. It's just Scott decided to pick the most boring movie of all fucking time. So, anyways, it's probably the worst movie we've ever picked.
No, we've had worse.
Negative. Anyways, all right. As always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Jordan.
And Scott.
Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Play ball.
Dun, 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 dun.